Okay, let's hear from our race winner now. Today's 32nd annual History 300 NASCAR Nationwide Series race, and our race winner is Kyle Busch. He drove the number 54 Monster Energy Toyota. He's joined by crew chief Adam Stevens and car owner J.D. Gibbs. And as I mentioned a minute ago, Kyle posted his second straight and 17th career perfect driver rating of 150.0 and his series best 7th win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, his 57th series best nationwide series win in series history. Kyle, certainly you're having one of those storybook seasons, and I know you would like to get that race tomorrow night, because then you would have swept the Camping World Truck Series, the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and then the Sprint Cup Series if you win the Coca-Cola 600. But just talk about this race win here today, and maybe even touch upon tomorrow as well.
Yeah, it was a really great race for us. I mean, we've had a lot of fast race cars this year, and it's a testament to our team and Adam Stevens and the work that the guys put in. They do such a great job for me, and being able to go out there with some good driving cars and to lead a lot of laps, but yet to put them in victory lane, you know. So I think it's just a true testament to how good our organization is, but yet how hard these guys work, and they never forget what they're supposed to do. You know, we've got to have good race cars from practice into qualifying and into the race, and so having those adjustments all set and having things ready to go is what makes us look so good. You know, we're able to start the race where the cars are handling well, and we weren't too loose today. We didn't have to fight or battle back, so it seemed to make our day a little bit smoother. But all in all, you know, there towards the end, I thought, you know, we were going to have to race. I did have to race hard with Casey there. You know, he was catching me a little bit on the outside, and I think he was just beating me down a straightaway, so I moved up to protect my momentum and do the same thing that he was doing, and it seemed to help me. It seemed to allow me to drive away from him a little bit. So I hadn't been up there all day, so I was kind of worried about the fact that my car wouldn't work up there, but felt good, and you know, it was certainly fast. So good to bring home the Monster Energy Camry to victory lane again here at Charlotte, and look forward to tomorrow. Just real short. You know, I think we've got a pretty good shot at it, but I think the guy behind me finishing today is a little faster than we are, so I'm sure we'll be racing with him towards the end.
Very good. And Adam Stevens, just talk about how this race team is really performing this year. Obviously, the cream of the crop in the Nationwide Series, but just talk about how this race team is performing.
Yeah, you know, this is the same team we had together last year. Just a lot of highly qualified and talented and hard-working guys. And like Kyle said, you know, when you have that much confidence in your people and the job that they do, you don't have to look over their shoulder, and it allows me and Curtis, my engineer, and Joel, my shot guy, to really focus on the details and kind of get engrossed in that rather than making sure that the big picture stuff's right. You know, I don't ever question the work that the guys do in the shop or the work that we do here at the racetrack, and I think that letting us other guys focus on the details is what gives us fast race cars.
Thank you, Adam. And J.D. Gibbs, maybe just talk about the performance of this team and their dominance so far in 2013.
Yeah, I think, and I mentioned this before, you know, Adam and Kyle, they just make it look easy. And as we all know, it's not easy. It's difficult to win these races and be where you are week in, week out. And so I'm just impressed with the way they relate and the way they help our other teammates, too. And it's been just special to be a part of.
Questions now. We'll open it up. Let's go to Reed right over here to the right.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Kyle, before the race even started today, you mentioned breaking the tie with Mark. Why was that milestone in particular so important to you?
You know, I mean, anytime that you're tied with somebody, you want to beat them, but to be tied with, you know, the greats in this sport like the Mark Martins or the Jack Ingrams, and you know, it makes it pretty special to be able to beat those guys, and it's the certain amount of records that they set at different tracks or whatever's been done before, you know. So certainly it's, like JD said, it's never easy, but you know, I felt like we had a good car and we were in good position, and I told Adam, I was like, if this track gets hot, these guys are in trouble because they seem to slip slide around a little bit more than we do. And I felt like our car was really good. And so proud of the fact that, you know, what I felt actually came true today.
Other questions? Bob?
Bob Parker, Sporting News. Kyle, were you surprised that the guys with 2 tires or 4 tires weren't able to really get too much of a run on you there over the last 30 laps?
Well, they really didn't get an opportunity to run a long run. I felt like that was going to be where the guys were going to showcase their tires, not necessarily a short run, because it seemed like our car would fire off and run some fast lap times, but how long could I hold those fast lap times and keep those guys at bay behind me that had fresher tires? So too many cautions came into play there at the end of the race. They never had an opportunity to get themselves sorted out and to go chase down the guy in front of them and ultimately see if they couldn't catch me.
Go ahead, Steve.
Kyle, you just talk a little bit more about tomorrow and what it would mean for you to finally get the Sprint Cup race here, and is it kind of a monkey on the back that you just want to get off and kind of move on with it?
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, I've been so close here so many times. I mean, I think, you know, two years ago, the fall race, I led a ton of laps, and then Matt Kenseth passed me with like 8 to go. So, you know, it certainly have had some devastating moments here at this racetrack, but also a lot of good ones too. So just hoping that tomorrow is a good race for us. I mean, we start 8th, but our car's a top 5 car right now. I think that throughout the race and throughout the 600 miles, the daytime, going into the nighttime, the adjustments you have to make to keep up the racetrack, it's like Adam today. You know, you got to go from practice to qualifying to the race and have the right adjustments ready to go. But tomorrow there's that extra element that's added in with the nighttime and being ready to go when the speeds are going to be the highest at night and having your car set up good.
Go ahead, Mike.
MikeEmbrySpeed.com. Kyle, is your nationwide schedule for the rest of the year set now? And can we just go ahead and put W's in for all those races?
That's not nice. The garage area is going to bombard you and run you over. But my nationwide schedule's set, I believe. I think it hadn't changed any, and should be on my website, I think. So there's a lot of them still left. So hopefully there's a few more W's in there. I'm looking forward to next week. Dover's always a great place for me. I've always been really fast there, and in all 3 divisions, it's a good track, and that you know, I look forward to seeing if we can't sweep it there.
Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, Kyle, Al Pierce from Auto Week. JD said that these wins are not easy, but when you're running along with that kind of a lead all day, does it ever get boring? Do you ever kind of wonder, I wish somebody come up here and race me hard, or is it tougher than we think it is?
It's a little tougher than you think it is. You certainly have to stay focused the whole time. There's never really, you know, a moment where you think, oh, this is easy. I'm waiting for somebody to come race me. Heck, I'd rather nobody ever race me, but I know that's boring for the fans or for the media to see. So I thought there at the end, I mean, yeah, Casey didn't get by me. We really didn't dice it up or race that much, but he caught me. And I had to change my line to a line that I hadn't run all race long, and it proved to work to my benefit. So that was good. But also, it's a lot of fun to go out there, lead that many laps, and run up front, and just you know, see all the people in the grandstands telling you that you're number 1 every lap, and to then take home the checker flag at the end of the day and put it right back at them.
Bob. They actually do that, huh? Give you a number 1, son?
Oh yeah, these guys down the backstretch every lap. I started waving to them.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. When you knew you were going to be running for Gibbs in this series, I mean, did you have a feeling like 6 wins in 10 races was possible? And is there any part of you that wants to just run your own car in this series maybe once or twice just to see what you could do in it this year?
You know, I knew that, like, I don't know if I said it in here last week or not, but, you know, when I was winning so much with Radcliffe and these guys at JGR, you know, yes, they work hard, but sometimes you just, I'm not around enough to see how hard they work at the shop and how dedicated a lot of the people are. And so you take for granted exactly how good your stuff is. So you think, okay, well, I can go off and do this on my own, no problem, and compete at their level. And certainly I would say that Kyle Busch Motorsports' success in the first year was good, but it wasn't good enough. It wasn't that I wasn't driving good enough equipment that kept me out of victory lane. I think there were certain circumstances that kept me out of victory lane throughout the year. But I'm thankful and happy that these guys let me drive their race car and have some fun, go out there, win some races. But yet, if there were two of me, trust me, I'd have myself in the other car as well too. But that's for Clickerman this year.
Any other questions? Dustin?
Dustin Long, Motor Racing Network. Just to kind of follow that, Kyle, Brad Keselowski talked a couple weeks ago about he thinks his idea is that Cup drivers, it's okay to race in the Nationwide Series, but he wishes they would run for teams that aren't backed by Cup programs. Like, in essence, in your case, it'd be you running for your team as opposed to Joe Gibbs Racing. From the owner's hat that you wear, obviously there'd be a lot of challenges with that. Is there some merit in thinking along those lines, or not? What kind of challenges do you face? I know you guys had a top 3, top 5 car, but when your team goes up against, JGR.
Yeah, last year I lost track of the stats, but we did the stats, KBM car with Kurt or myself in it versus JGR cars, and we actually beat them quite a few times. I'm not exactly sure. You could go back and look it up yourself, but we weren't bad. Even when Denny Hamlin was in the car, we'd beat him a few times, and when Joey Logano was in the car, I'd beat him a few times, or Kurt could beat him a few times. But again, that if you step out of those cars, there's Cup drivers getting back in them. So what's to the benefit of you moving out of a seat that you could be in and winning races? So that's the way I'm looking at it right now today. That you're always going to have these detractors, and everybody's saying that I don't need to be in the Nationwide Series, but until all the rest of the Cup guys aren't there, I'm going to be there. So if I'm the only one that wins all the Nationwide races because the other Cup guys aren't beating me, that's their problem.